So with the wastegates opening up boost and holding it consistently at 14.5 psi, we're able to maintain 500 horsepower from 6,200 RPM all the way out to 7,400 RPM. It's a totally flat horsepower curve. Instead of having a peak of horsepower, it's getting there and hanging out there for 1,200 RPM.
And that's because it's able to just keep that boost steady.
Right, so if you ready to hit your scramble button,
yeah,
instead of that being flat, you're just going to continue to power.
Right, so we're at a peak and then hit a scramble a little bit more and then more power, right on.
Right.
RS2 is a very sought after car in Europe and all over the world. It makes a lot of jam.
Now I know our turbos didn't need a rebuild, but you thought you could upgrade them a little bit anyway?
They need a rebuild, a little one.
We're gonna see how this works out because I've never done this before.
All right, so that is the fiberglass bumper. Carbon fiber on the roof where our roof scoop is now at the front rather than the back. This episode, don't want to die, so we're also going to install a proper fuel tank. 4-wheel drive, 4-turbo, LS swap goodness. Here we go. Okay, so because this isn't actually a tank, what you're paying for is a bladder. And the bladder can be replaced. And this is pretty much a must-have for any racing application now because it's safe. If there's a fire or an explosion, it stays contained in here. It'll balloon out, but it won't spread fuel everywhere and kill everybody in the immediate area, because that's mainly me. So we're gonna pull the foam out, and we're just gonna replace the sock on the end of it because we have the Holley Hydromat, and we'll show you how that works. So this is Holley's Hydromat. Comes in a few different sizes, but what happens is it'll suck fuel from every corner until every last drop is gone. And what happens when it starts to not be submersed in fuel, it sucks together and closes the pores so that all the suction still comes from wherever. So this will let us use every last drop of fuel. But we have 2 fuel pumps. So we got 2 ins and 2 outs of the fuel pumps. Get a Y and Y it off. So one pump will just deadhead, so it'll suck through one or the other. And that way, if we run into an issue with our fuel pump, we can just turn the other fuel pump on and then we're still good. So in the future, maybe we'll grab another Hydromat and then run 2 lines right up. But for now, this will work just fine. So the foam gives you that baffle. So that when you stop, it takes a while to flow. So we shouldn't have an issue with fuel sloshing out and us sucking air and stuttering or whatever. I'm gonna keep as few 90s and 45s in there as possible, but at some point, you have to use some. At this point, I would put the gasket on, and then I would put my filler neck system on. I got just enough hoses that we had made from B&R to lift up, tighten, put it down. Problem is, when I have this on there, I can't slide the tank underneath the wing, the mount for the wing, because it's not just on the trunk, it's got a frame that goes into the bottom of the car. We've got bulkheads on the floor, so there's no rubbing, and new hoses going to the pump. We're gonna make our mounts for the side, just we need to raise it up a little bit. Just grab a little bit of C-channel from Princess Auto, drill some holes. I can't get at these holes with the tank in place, but I can bolt the frame in place with the tank out and then drop the tank in and bolt it to the top. So it's a really nice assembly that way. And then that's it. Okay, so so other than the fill tube, we're all done back here. Everything's just nice and tight. It's not going anywhere. So, a couple things to do in the front yet. I messed up on our power steering because I had Vince weld these two fittings on here on this little can that's from Grassroots, I think. But this can is not vented, so after a while it starts just shaking and stuttering. But Holly makes these reservoirs now, 3 ports, nice big bottom sump. So we're gonna mount that right here, and it's vented, so that should fix our problem. Got the fittings. I gotta put a new O-ring in here because that was leaking before, but everything else is pretty good here. Took the fuel line off so we can run some fuel through there once everything's hooked up. I don't want to run all the crap from us being in the tank. Anything makes it past the filter, we'll just dump this into a can and throw that in the van or something, and then we'll carry on. I'm gonna tidy up the front, put the air ducts into the intake, finish the ductwork for the 2 diagonals going in from the bumper, and then we'll wash everything, and then I think that's pretty well it. Here we go. Okay, no fuel leaks. Let's see if spilled a little bit of gas on the header, and that's wrapped. So I won't run it too long. Just see if she fires and then call her a night. That sound. Awesome. That is a night. We'll wait for that smoking to stop. It's just helping burn that gas off, but nice. I am. Why did I have to spill gas? Anyway, she's alive again. Awesome. Here we go. Okay. So, looking at the bottom of the car, just checking all our fluids. So we've got our 75 190 Pennzoil in our rear diff. And then over to our transmission, we've got our 7590 in the front. Full synthetic, we should be good to go. I gotta go grab a data log for my tuner so he can start working on the tune while we drive 6 hours to the dyno. I'm gonna pressure wash off all the sheets, skid plates, because there's a lot of rivets and shavings from all the work that we did. And then we're getting close. Okay, and there she is, all dirty, filthy, but ready to go. A couple small issues. Still having a cam sync issue. We can do waste fire, but that's not ideal. And we're not reading the one bank on the O2 sensor, so hopefully we can figure that out there, but it is late and I gotta load up and maybe catch 2 hours of sleep, and then we're gonna head to Pennsylvania. So it runs, it drives, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. Should be an interesting day, so here we go. We left at 4 o'clock this morning, headed to Pennsylvania, and Ryan was stupid enough to let us back into the shop.
Never stupid, it's always a good time.
Yeah, so hopefully we can sort out some issues on the Audi yet. We got cam sync, but we had an NG, we had an O2 sensor go bad. either way, Ryan, you're the man. You're calling around. You're getting the sensor.
Trying to find one.
Yeah, we got Brad here who's going to help us tune too. So Brad's our local dyno tuner and getting ever more familiar with the Audi. So hopefully we can go to him. And we also have Dr. EFI on standby on the computer to do remote tuning to make sure that everything is working the way it should. So, yeah, here we go. Alright, so here's what we're trying to accomplish. One, we get reliability. We've basically rebuilt the whole car and we're hoping that all the fluids stay in it and the systems are working properly. One of the biggest systems we never got working right is our boost control. Now, most people, if you know anything about boost control, a simple way to do it is on your wastegate, you've got spring and a diaphragm behind it. Put manifold pressure behind it. When you hit X amount of back pressure, it'll push against the spring, open up your wastegate, divert the gas flow from spinning the turbos out to a wastegate somewhere so that you don't have as much boost. Now that's fine, but that gives you one boost setting and that's it. When we took the Holly school, we realized that with a couple solenoids that we've got right over here, these open and close about 50 times a second. So what that allows us to do is have an air compressor on board, which we grabbed from an Escalade for the air suspension, and then just put a small little air tank on here. So we've got 50 PSI that we build inside this tank. That is a nice way of being able to control boost either at a certain RPM, at a certain load, at a certain gear, or it also gives you boost on command. So we can run 10 pounds at a certain time, push a scramble button, and then give us another 5 pounds, or 10 pounds, or 20 pounds. So our dyno session this time is not for peak numbers, that's fine, but we need to get it running smoothly and then get our boost control under control. That is the main goal. If we can figure that out, and I say figure it out because the last time we had on the dyno, we had the wastegates closed and we only hit 12 pounds of boost on the dyno. When we took it to the track, we hit 25 pounds in third gear on our first straight line pull and started blowing intake boots off. It's because we have 4 turbos. So the dyno acts a little different than it does in real life. And this is the major system to get working. Now the issue is I've tried calling people and sending logs and I've never been able to get it right yet from our little testing whenever we get a chance. So now we've got a few tuners all talking to each other and hopefully by the end of the day we've got boost control, some decent numbers, some reliability so we can take it to the track and have some fun. And here we go.
Yeah, how's it doing? It's good, but it hit its own cut. But AFRs look pretty good, they're on the safe side. Just relaying the information from the wideband on the dyno. So if it's a little bit too fat on here, then they'll adjust the fuel map and take out the appropriate amount of fuel to get the AFRs right for what we're requesting. Once the request matches the command, then we can change what the command is and go in and add more time.
Okay, so right now we're just testing the mechanics of the car. There's a lot of safeties that are going on. We're just starting at that point now. Andrew in Chicago is starting to understand the car and the mechanics of the car, and now it's starting to get fun. It sounds like a proper car. I'm really happy so far with all the mechanics of the car. Nothing's leaking, nothing's dripping down from underneath, no boots are flying off. So all that work that we've done to rebuilding everything so far is paying off. So a couple more pulls, we're going to change some spark plugs because they've had like a rich tune and whatever. And then now it's starting to get really fun. So it's a good day here. It's a really good day.
So we're at 11.5 pretty much all the way across, right? Which is right what they're asking for, yeah. Right in the range of what's being commanded by the Hawk.
Did you see one?
Yeah, on the driver's side it's working. Or sorry, passenger side it's working. Yeah, yeah. Yeah? What? 520 horse there.
That's a lot of power there. That's a good run. Right, so here's the air-fuel ratio. Before it was hovering between 11 and 11.6. And down here it's starting to dip lower as the wastegates open. You can see the way that the wastegates are cycling even as the torque curve goes up and comes down, goes up and comes down as they flutter through. Then when they stay closed, you can see right through here that the AFRs are back stable again at 11.5. On here you can see the boost pressure kind of going 6 psi, 8 psi back down to 6, up to 8 to 6, and it relates to the wave on the graph.
We set them up in binary right now, so they're just opening and closing very slow. And as soon as we can verify, as soon as we know that they're working and wired properly, we can do a pulse width modulation on them because they're Holly, and then we can trigger them super fast. Super fast, and get a nice straight boost.
So Andrew said he's learning a lot. That's fantastic. I wasn't having a fantastic day until it started sounding gnarly coming out the exhaust. And then I'm like, all right, it's going to be an okay day. And it's getting better.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So all down through here, the wastegates were working. They were keeping boost away. And then once we got right here, it just built 10 psi, which is why the power spiked upwards like that.
I think I had a pin assigned wrong, maybe. I'm not sure. We're getting every tech in North America's input on the most complicated car that's ever been on the dyno. But if we can get some smoke coming out of there, then we've got a legit car. Our issue is we have way too much boost. And there's no such thing except for when it grenades your engines. So we need to, we got boost right away, nice and low. And we can get scramble and everything working as long as we get those wastegates working. You happy?
Yeah, give it a try, see what it does.
Yeah? Okay.
Go from there.
Fire it up. Fire up the Quattro. Okay, so that worked. We set the boost at 3 pounds and we made no power. It was amazing. I loved it. So we had smoke coming up the sides, which is what we want. Gotta make sure this one's opening as well. And then we got it.
So we just have to have more dome pressure then to get to that. And you said it hit that at 5,000, 5,500? Okay.
Okay, so we're able to keep it at 7 pounds of boost now. We got the wastegates opening. We're there. only 400 horsepower. Don't care about horsepower numbers. We don't have AFR. We're running super rich. Don't care. We just want to make sure our systems are working, and we're getting there. So it's a good day. Okay, so it's working. You can tell the last pull, I had my hand in front of it. I could feel the hot exhaust come out, so the wastegate's opening. It's working. Now we're just checking to make sure that the solenoids, the pulse width is set up right. And Ragu, as he prefers to be called, I'm told, in the shop at 1320, knows his stuff too, and is just tweaking the last little things that Andrew wasn't able to do remotely. Everything Holly said that we could do and no tuner's ever seen yet. So how do we know that? Everybody has told us that. Nice seeing it all come together finally. This car deserves a lot. Oh, nice. 5 1/4.
Pulls later and it's still together.
So he called the Audi reliable. That's something, 33 pulls in an afternoon, man. I really appreciate.
Not a problem.
So we got a nice, you think you can get more out of it?
Yeah. So the last pull we ran out of fuel, so it leaned out up top. But the pull before that we were pretty much flat as far as air fuel goes. But the power curve itself is smooth and level now. The boost control's dialed in. Nice. So we should be able to see possibly 600 at maybe 18, 19 pounds of boost.
Okay. Right.
So,
nice. Nice. Out of a little 4.8.
Yep.
To the tires. Yeah, that would put us right max torque
kind of max to what this transmission can handle.
Yeah.
Past midnight, we got 2 of us got less than 2 hours of sleep in 48 hours. We're gonna go to the hotel.
Long day. Enjoy your night, guys.
Thanks again.
Pleasure being with you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. We'll be back in the morning to take her home.
Here's the cops.
Are they?
No kidding.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, it is!
Uh-oh. Now we're in trouble.
Okay, so yeah, it is really late. Now the cops are here. 'Cause we're being loud, but it's so epic. Still can't believe it. Alright, so very stressful time at the dyno, but we are back in Canada and we are at our favorite racetrack, Toronto Motorsports Park, where we are going to have some fun with the car. If you've been with us from the beginning, this is the car that we built to challenge Rob Freddy's Project Car Challenge, and everything's just kind of coming together now. COVID threw a big wrench in things with everything being closed, so we kind of focused on other projects for a bit, but this is the summer for this. DEBOSS Garage is about anything throttle, and you can see the variety on the channel. I know you guys want to see some more F350, and it's coming up, I promise, but this is a 4-year project. Things that are built to this caliber takes time. That's all there is to it. We can slam it together. I do think about it and have fun with this. It's an overly complicated car, but if we're able to get it to do what I think it can do, it's going to be a pretty amazing car. So we're going to be wrenching on this thing non-stop. We're going to be breaking stuff, making things leak. We're going to have to rebuild a few things, I'm sure, but we're very, very excited. We're heading to Pikes Peak this year to check it out with Industry Garage. Maybe a couple other YouTube channels. Gonna have a riot, and then 2023 F350 will be pulling this to Denver, Colorado, where I'm gonna have the time of my life. In the meantime, we're gonna rip some laps on Toronto Motorsports Park. We need to figure out the hood, make sure that the hood doesn't fly apart. Might have to build a couple more braces for that. Car feels fantastic. No vibration, no crazy noises. Just the hood is way too flexible. We gotta put some supports in there and either have it hang down on the supports or something, but we'll probably do a couple laps with the hood off. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so I know my driving is crap. You can comment down below, but I already know. It's because I'm looking at my gauges, making sure the oil pressure, temperature are all good, because I'm more worried about, I don't want to keep working on it, I want to keep driving it. So we're going to take it back, do an oil analysis on it, make sure that everything's up to par, and then we will be back at Toronto Motorsports Park and somewhere else. Guys, thank you very much, and I honestly mean it, to allow us to do stuff like this. I love the heavy equipment, I love building trucks, but this is something completely new to me again, and I'm really enjoying this. So again, I want to thank all of our sponsors, Tuesday Auto for giving us the car and helping us out right from the start, V&R always lending us trucks and equipment and whatever else to get what we need done. Holly, who saw potential in the car right from the start. Check out everything they got, guys. They're an awesome company, awesome people. Also Pennzoil, and every other one of the names that's on this car, whether it's a sponsor on the outside or the names that we wrote on the firewall. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoy the videos. I hope you guys follow us right from dragging this out of the scrapyard right up to Pikes Peak. Lots of challenges, things we're going to overcome yet, but from the bottom of my heart, thank you guys. I really, really appreciate this. Remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich. Here we go.